my business's history is just a drill tweet where it's just like, do you know who I am? The answer is I am not to be taken seriously and I have a sack of shit.
Welcome to Game of Nodes, a weekly podcast on the cosmos from independent validator teams.
Hello and welcome to Game of Nodes, a weekly podcast on the cosmos from independent validator teams. And today we're going to be talking about a bunch of things that Frey hasn't noticed because Frey's been off Twitter a few days. And I got sent a link the other day from friend of the show, Jake, with the red blue thing. And hey, with no context, somebody being like, hey man, you're like, okay, I still don't. You're like, cool. Now I need to spend several hours digging into what the heck is going on here. So would somebody like to, because this seems like the biggest thing that's been going on this week. Is that fair?
What?
Kind of seems
You haven't
like
even said anything. What are you talking about?
The red blue thing.
The red blue thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like the DAO games, right? I don't know what it's about, but there's two DAOs and people
I
are
don't know
making
what it's about, but I'm all in. I mean,
people are making the dumb thing is that people are like buying those tokens on a exchange, which is fucking stupid.
What?
Yeah,
Are they?
It's literally on Osmosis. It's on fucking Frontier.
Get the fuck out of here.
wow.
What are these
I think
words?
Like 20 cents for the
These
red
are-
token.
No.
Wait. These are
It can't be 20
non-voting tokens, right? They're just voting tokens for a DAO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are buying them for how much?
I thought I saw maybe it was
Can
like
you?
a doctor.
Maybe you're
fucking-
imagining stuff.
No, I think I've been had.
It's been a long
to be honest.
winter.
I think I think I saw an image on Twitter and just assumed that it was real. And now that I've just gone to Frontier and actually typed it in, I think I might have been had. It might have been bullshit.
You've been had. You know, what I have seen this week, because obviously I've been largely living under a rock and emailing OVH, was about so for the Americans, you've The Onion submitted an amicus brief to the Supreme Court, I think a little while ago, about satire. And you're going, where is he going with this? Well,
Waiting.
in their statement to the Supreme Court about how satire is it should be under the First Amendment and is under the First Amendment, you can't put a disclaimer on satire because the whole point is that somebody has to be possibly had by it in order for it to be satire. Otherwise it ceases to be satire or parody. Just like how you just got had, Null. So there you go.
I stopped
You tuned out there for a second.
Although, I guess they have the First Amendment in Australia anyway.
Shit, that was my name.
he's like, wait a second.
Fuck.
You have to say cunt now.
Fuck.
Someone
Shit.
say something.
Somebody say something.
I was like, I was looking at the timestamp and the topic thing. I was staring deep into it, wondering what I should type there right now. And the answer is nothing.
And what the topic actually is.
Red DAO, blue DAO.
So it looks like Red DAO is kicking ass. Is that the idea here?
Yeah, so I'm assuming you're on Red DAO and
No, I'm
think
blue.
DAO
I
is-
just checked 2 minutes before the show started because I've been meaning to, and then I just kind of forgot about it.
So how do you find out which DAO you're in? We should have
you just go
invited
to
on the session,
the
really.
Juno you go to Juno Tools /airdrops and you will either have blue tokens or you will have red tokens.
Right.
And then you
that's
claim them and then you stake them to the DAO and then you fucking just make tons of bullshit props and make fucking Null click his little thing 4,000 fucking times.
You clicking your thing
And
a lot.
look, I'm doing this on my validator ledger too, so my accountant is going to be fucking pissed after this.
Why? They have no
When
value.
there's like 1,000 needless transactions
Oh,
on there, it'll probably
filter
cost
them
me
out.
a few $100s of analysis. My scraper's going to chuck a shit. He's like, "What is all this crap?"
Yeah, how's your scraper doing?
Haven't hired him yet. We're in.
Oh, you're still in
negotiations.
negotiation? Jesus. It's gonna be tax season's going to be over by then.
Well, I've got to put it to my accountant tomorrow, so
Did
we're
he-
having a meeting.
Did he look at mintscan and go, ugh, I gotta want to do
Yeah,
this?
he's like, I can't wait till he actually tries to scrape it, and then just gets immediately fucking blacklisted from mintscan. Although I have heard other people successfully querying their APIs without being blacklisted. So
They're probably scraping the UI, right? They're probably like
yeah,
writing a
I
little.
dare say
They're
they'll
probably
scrape
like
the UI. Yeah,
a little Power
I think
Automate bot or something like that. They're just gonna go to the UI, just go page by page and grab transactions.
I think it was my headers that got me like banned.
Yeah, you were sending those headers on that call request were fucked. They were fucked.
Fuck you, man.
Little swear words in there.
But why were you sending those fucking headers?
I did it accidentally. I just copied them out of the what is it the where you do the calls in the DevTools, yeah.
Postman or Chrome DevTools. You just mean Chrome DevTools, right?
Yeah, like Chrome DevTools. So you can actually just
right
right
click. It was calling as a browser. So basically, what they detected was a browser with browser headers going like, "I want to call you 42 times to one page."
Yeah, I thought I could masquerade as a browser. Apparently, you can't. I didn't.
Well, you don't want to do that.
I think that's the opposite of what you want. Yeah.
Yeah. You wanted to probably ask it for application JSON because then it would have given you back. I wouldn't be too surprised if you call the pages with application JSON, whether it gives you the detailed JSON on the TX page. I've never tried it though, to be honest. I don't.
The browser calls it as application JSON anyway, right?
What's that?
I'm pretty sure the browser
calls application calls text HTML now. That's what HTML is.
No, I was querying the API though, not the. It was an actual API call, not.
But you were also sending browser headers.
Yeah, to an API.
Yeah, okay. I can see why you got banned there. They were just like, "Why is this person trying to navigate?"
I was pretending to be a browser. I was in my little browser hat.
You gave him those t-shirt idea.
I put on my HTML hat. That's data, motherfucker.
You said header application type. I'm a browser. LOL.
I'm a browser. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought they might have been that dumb that you could just go, "Yeah, I'm legitimately just Google Chrome," and they'll be like, have everything you want. Don't worry about it. But they're like, bullshit, ban.
That's literally how HTTP works. You just send the content type header of X. I'm a browser. Well, it's like, no, you're a dog. You're like, damn.
So
explain to me why it didn't work. Why did they know I wasn't a browser if I told them I was a browser?
It wasn't that they gave a shit about whether you're a browser or not. It's just you sent fucking bizarre headers, and they were like, just get random fucking headers from this random fucking place.
That's the same headers that Chrome sent. So why didn't they?
How many times you just sit hitting a page or hitting multiple pages? Like
I queried them once, and they blocked me.
Oh, okay.
But you were hitting the API call, right? You were hitting an API endpoint, yeah.
Yeah. With the exact same headers that the browser sent.
It sounds like we need to get Caramillion from mintscan to come join us.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like, why you... No, you can't access their API, you fucking idiot.
Well, we could. I mean, that would be a valuable. Like we talked about this before. Like they should upcharge for that API. I would totally pay for that API. Right.
I'll message him right now and see if he wants to join in. That'd be fine.
Tell him to join in. Just see. Maybe he knew it was used personally.
I would totally pay for a fucking CSV of transactions.
So would I. Like, especially like all these tax things. Like they have the data.
Like, how much do you want, man? I'm gonna have to pay someone else anyway.
Mintscan Plus.
We talk about this every week.
Get it fucking together.
We bitch about this every week.
We do.
Every fucking week.
So,
although
I noticed in the chat, Barnacle Radio says we've had 40 governance votes on Kujira this week. Busy week.
This is on the list to talk about.
I noticed it's in the spreadsheet, and I noticed also that in the spreadsheet this week, it's been copied over from a previous week, and one comment from a previous page has been carried over, grandfathered, if you will, which I didn't see the first time round, but I vaguely remember. Well, it certainly just appeared randomly, which says, "Life is a meaningless march of emptiness and despair. Why complicate things with agendas?" I think we can all guess which member of the show wrote that one. So the other thing,
I mean, to be honest, it sounds more like a Frey thing to me.
I did make it bold and red, though. I liked it.
Yeah, you definitely have made it stand out this week.
The formatting was me. I had to highlight it.
Yeah, and for the audience listening, this is one of three things that was on the sheet. It's like there was nothing else. The other things that are on the sheet, the attendance slots. It says null, phrase, schiltzy, meaningless, empty space.
That's me.
Yeah, and then it says what is guest?
What is
that's actually usurper's first name.
What is guest?
God.
And many balls. So
that's one.
I feel like we're not very good at spreadsheets. Planning.
But you're good at timestamping, so just keep that going.
I think we're kind of like a B+ at spreadsheets, maybe.
Well, we haven't timestamped anything yet, and we're 10 minutes in.
It's because you're talking about your scraping.
You know what? If we were like as good
scraper
at
stopped talking to me.
tweeting as we are at like random one-liners buried in an hour of content, then we would be S tier as a podcast. But
We would.
the problem is, it's like avant-garde comedy. You have to like watch for an hour to get like the one nugget of gold.
I think that's the problem. Is like anybody who new that joins doesn't make it the hour, so they never come back.
They never, and they never have the moment of enlightenment.
They never
right?
exactly.
They're like there is a kind of twisted wisdom in amongst the idiocy here.
Such a fine line.
Speaking of people who are smarter than us,
Hang on, I was listening to the Mr. Beast.
Rama.
I was listening to the Mr. Beast podcast this morning with Lex Friedman, and he said that you only have to like engage people for the first like 10 minutes. And if they're still there, then they're going to watch the whole thing anyway. So these 6 people will probably still just now listen to us.
We should work on
say
the first
bullshit
10
for the
minutes.
next hour, and then they will hear the magical one line of wisdom that we might say in that 90
or
minutes.
not.
Yeah,
Might say. I think the problem is also the best joke of the episode is actually the title, which was something Usurper said in relation to I think Sam Bankman-Fried. It just made me like
With what?
Actually laugh out loud.
No, that was because the USD was it the DEA? No, it wasn't the DEA. It was the who was it? Schulte.
FTC?
No,
DOJ.
No. The DOJ,
wasn't it?
Yeah, DOJ had some announcement today. The U.S. Department of Justice had some announcement today about busting some, I don't know, some small, I guess they're sex is what they are, right? Somewhere in Europe that was like funneling cash from Hydra and all this type of shit. And so on Twitter, it was really funny because everybody's saying, well, nobody understands what the sex is and nobody cares and all this type of thing. And then they were very proud of their fact that the new cryptocurrency DOJ group was like, putting people behind bars and, you can't hide and they're going to make people answer for their crimes. And I was just laughing because Sam Bankman is sitting on a beach somewhere in Malibu answering for his crimes right now, like brought into the US and like, it's fine. Go ahead. Leave. It's no problem.
Exactly. Right.
It's fine. Yeah.
Rama has said in the chat, by the way, the pools are on Hoper's decks, Null. So
yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
What is Hoper's Dex? Am I completely out of the loop here?
Is it a fork of I guess it's a fork of Juno Swap, isn't it? If it's
okay, so to random degens, please stop paying 7 fucking cents for a game token, which will be worthless after the game. Just stop doing it. Fuck's sake.
Well, wait, but hang on. Which one are they paying for, and do we collectively hold it? Because we could use funding the show for the next year.
Red seems to be worth more right now.
How much is blue worth? I've just discovered that I'm
blue's
poor in friends, but I'm wealthy in blue.
Sorry, blue.
Oh yeah, there you are.
So for 10 blues is 7 and
10 blues is what?
7 cents is 10 blues.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking okay. So red is really smashing it then.
Hang on. No, that might have been 10 reds anyway.
Wait. So red is worth more than stars.
Get the fuck out of here.
So,
hang on. I'm just reevaluating my life.
Get the fuck.
Hang on.
Remind me why we're paying for an AWS setup for our Stargaze validator.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
It looks like 10 red is like 4 cents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's 10. Sorry, it's 10. It's 10. So it's 0.
Yeah,
like
0.04. It's
We're
0.4
right.
of a cent. But I mean, I've got 40,000 blue ones for 0.7 of a cent. Like that's a cup of coffee.
Wait, you have 40,000 blue?
How the fuck
Somebody
you
in the chat-
I got 40,000 blue that I haven't even like claimed. Actually, I probably got about 60,000 blue I haven't claimed.
I'm going to get a calculator.
What do you reckon? Go sell them? Buy a new MacBook? Fucking degens.
I have blue for sale if anybody from the red team wants them. Otherwise, they're getting staked.
Stake that shit. Yeah, well, I mean, you only need one to play the game, right? I got red and blue. I can sell the red ones as well.
0.007 is the price of a blue, did you say?
Yeah,
That's
look,
right.
here, I'll put it in. I've got 40,000. If I sell 40,000, I'll still have 4 cents.
You make
this
$350 now.
Boy. $350.
$350. About $350.
It's about
Be about
2 hours.
$350.
2 hours of work.
Yeah.
At $350.
About $350. Just that's I said, how much are those tokens worth? And he turned around to me and he said, tree fitty.
Some shucky for that tree fitty. I'm not sure what's going on here. I put in 40,000 tokens and now it's telling me $2. So
it's moving like all over the place.
I feel like there's not massively deep liquidity in there. So
yeah, you probably can't dump 40,000. Okay. I'm going to read the drill tweet of the week before we continue.
No one's put anything in the timestamps yet. I feel like that was the last week.
It's your job. You're asking.
It's from the sports section. I will not close my account until the sport of golf is rightfully named golf ball, like all the other ball sports. That's less insane than some of the other tweets, but
is that a tweet or is that a fucking?
Okay.
What is that book you're reading those tweets out of? It doesn't make sense.
That's a shower thought. Is what that is.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
that's
mean, I discovered yesterday that there's a whole drill book that I wasn't aware of. It's called it's called the Success Method: How to Become God or something, and it's like a series of anecdotes from their life about how to become so successful. And I shared one with Usurper and Null, and they were not that amused. But it was somebody had got like a chat AI bot to say it in Eminem's voice, and then put it for the backing from the real Slim Shady. I think this is showing my poor knowledge.
I forget what shirt. Yeah, I don't remember what song it was. That little AI program was pretty awesome though.
It was pretty cool. I was actually playing around with that after it. But
me too.
There's a line in it that's something like, I put my feet through the floor of the car to start it up, like some Fred Flintstone shit. And I realized immediately I had been fooled. I had been sold a caveman's car. It's kind of, you got to see it to believe it. It's insane.
Oh, that's you. Yeah, that was very funny. I quite enjoyed that. It was the highlight of my morning.
I will grab the link.
Just the line at the end was just like, because I'm a complete sack of shit. I was like, oh, there's just something about the phrase "sack of shit" that will never not be funny.
It's always funny.
He says it, you're like, sack of shit. Yeah.
So I have been away from home for some period of time, probably to the tune of about 2 months now. And I got back home last night to my setup and sat in front of my computer and listened to music for maybe 5 hours. I just sat here and drank beer and watched music videos for 5 hours last night.
You kept putting different links in that you got to watch this. You got to watch this.
Yeah,
you're deep
in the group chat.
You're deep in Triple J Leica versions in the group chat.
Are you familiar with Triple J Leica versions? They do it every week for fucking years now. It's like
I am now. You posted 25 in the fucking group chat.
Oh man, there's some fucking bangers in there. There's some really good ones.
Well, there was that Denzel Curry Bulls on Parade one that went viral, wasn't there? I think that was a Triple J, wasn't it? Where he did Bulls on Parade. He covered Rage Against the Machine. I'm pretty sure that was Triple J. And then obviously, I'm into Australian progressive rock, so I think Carnival have done 2 of the Triple J sessions. So they play their own songs. They're like, play a cover, go fuck yourself. We're Carnival. We're going to play some 10-minute prog song on an acoustic guitar.
Did I post you the one where it's just got all these buff dudes come out and are dancing to this rave song?
No.
Rama knows what I'm talking about. I sent the link to Rama. It was fucking hilarious. It's just it was a real chill beat, and then after when it picks up, I don't know what the different progressions in a song is, but then it picks up and it's this bit of a dance beat type thing, and then just these fucking dudes come in with these tiny shorts and they're just ripped and they start doing you'd expect to see him at a Dead Mouse concert or something with their little bands going. Anyway, it was pretty good. I'll send it to you.
I'll just let you go.
You just knocked your camera there with your enthusiasm.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so my camera setup at the moment is so fucking jank. The
wait, what just happened there?
I think it auto tracks, right?
Yeah,
it auto tracks. Yeah.
So
That's really disturbing.
My 4K camera, the little portable one that I've got that you just sort of sit on top of your monitor. The colors in it, I don't know if it's just me, if I'm changing color or something, but it seems to go you guys look washed out and ghost-like, and I was like really red all the time. It's like, fuck, this must be my camera. And then so I used the continuity camera on the iPhone. Remember last week when it was all fucked and my camera stopped working and I started using the continuity camera?
Yeah.
And man, it's really good. It's like really good camera. But I'm just waiting for like a micro HDMI cable and a capture card to be able to use my DSLR and possibly like a better stand to put it on.
I was going to say the background on the ground working really hard for you there. I mean, you really cannot see the microwave refrigerator.
It is working pretty hard.
Television.
Yeah. Are you convinced? Are you convinced that it's porky?
It's like it is like something. Is it like security? Is like secure, not secure, and they're the same picture.
Anyway, so to our agenda.
Back to it.
Let's talk about the Kujira voting situation. And I know that the-frey, you are not really over on the Kujira, right? But
I have seen. This is one of the things that I haven't been completely in a hole this week. I've been mainly in accordance with when you get assigned a account manager, you're in trouble. Got assigned an account manager at OVH, but
why are you in trouble when you get
in general, people only assign you an account manager when they're about to really fuck your shit up with a big bill. So we got assigned one over at Grafana as well. And they were like, would you care to add a billing card to your Grafana free plan? And if you're thinking, wait, those guys run a lot of nodes, how are they still on Grafana's free plan? Whenever we've exceeded it in the past, we basically just pruned away metrics from the reporting window to get back below it. So if it's like 15 seconds, we're like, send logs every 30 seconds. Don't worry about it. What could go wrong? And we've somehow stayed below it. And then something's changed in like the amount of logs that cause the Tendermint sends, I think, or something like that, default setting. Something's happened and we've like blown through, or Grafana's lowered the limit because everybody in this current economy is trying to find ways to make more money. And so we've blown through our free limit and we're just going to let our Grafana cloud die, I think, because we have alerting. We have like an alerting setup to let us know if anything goes wrong. And I'm kind of like, is monitoring actually just vanity? Is this vanity? Like I log in every morning and I'm just like, everything's fine. I'm like, yeah, I know it's fine because we didn't have PagerDuty go off in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
This is vanity. And they're like, the minimum tier is like going to be like $300 a month. I'm like, $300 a month? Yeah, we're not going to add our company card to that account. Thanks, Buster.
About $300 a month?
Why? Look, okay, let me break this down. You're on the Grafana free tier, you fucking degen. You spend like 40 grand in a month with Bezos, and then you're on the fucking Grafana free tier, and you won't pay like $4 or whatever the fuck it is.
It's about $250. Like it's because the log ingestion is really expensive.
Just run your own fucking instance, mate, on one of your servers. It's like it's not going to use anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware that is a possibility, and that is, of course.
You don't seem aware. You just like let's just let monitoring die because I'm not going to fucking pay for the cloud.
You don't. Honestly, you don't seem aware.
Maybe it is vanity. This is the thing. Maybe it's. Do we really need to monitor our stuff? Is that even a thing in a bear market? Do we even give a shit?
Someone else will tell you if something goes wrong.
But so the joking aside, right? We have a double redundancy alerting system. So like anything that's ever.
So you want to remove the redundancy? You're like, fuck it, let's just go to the old single tier.
No, because Grafana's monitoring, right? It's not. It's for observability. It's not for actual alerting. We have two.
Do you know why? Because Grafana's fucking impossible to set up for alerting. It takes forever, and it's a pain in the ass. And fuck Grafana.
Also that, and also just the alerts don't fire correctly. Whereas. And do you know what? Like, of all the things, like PagerDuty's been pretty good, but the one thing that has never fucked any of our stuff up, never fucked.
Let me finish that sentence.
So yeah, exactly. It's like just clip that. The one thing that's never fucked.
Never fucked.
Is what?
Right. So, but we have our absolute like kill switch things. We have like some AWS Lambdas that do periodic polling, and even when everything else has got fucked for some reason, like a service outage, whatever. The AWS Lambdas always catch the issue, and even actually on fucking Aptos, different network, one of our our first layer monitoring, not monitoring, alerting fell over when there was a halt. There's a halt a little while ago.
Yep.
Briefly. And our first layer monitoring was like, I didn't notice that. And our fucking little AWS Lambda, little Python Lambda, just calling and parsing a log, was like, whoa, wait, the fuck, wake up, everybody, it's fucked. And I was like, I can't believe that honestly, it's so boneheaded. The thing that we do is literally like, it calls the thing, grabs the JSON, just parses it in this little Python Lambda and goes like, that doesn't look right.
Is number bigger? Yes. Okay.
It has like
number bigger. Okay.
Things where it's just like, this might be something to be worried about. But then it sort of like puts that to one side and goes, keep track of that. But the one it just goes like, wake everybody up is number not got bigger. Number not got bigger for 2 consecutive rounds. We're in trouble. Boom.
Frey,
that is
number same.
That is
wake
literally
up.
my metric that always catches it. Like,
is number bigger?
My Zabbix monitoring does the same thing. It just pings that friggin' status on the API, and it's like, is the number bigger?
The number bigger?
Or did it respond, and is the number bigger?
That's it.
And if it doesn't do either of those things, it goes,
blockchain.
Fucking wake up, you bastard! It's fucking 3 a.m. Time to get up, you prick.
Blockchain monitoring in a nutshell, right there.
You can see why I would be a bit flippant about Grafana, because Grafana doesn't like it's useful to know those numbers. It's particularly useful to know disk usage, right? That's the big one.
Yeah. And also trends, though. Like, it's good to look at trends and see what's happening, like with your resourcing over.
Yeah, but usually that's
period of time.
Usually that's disk usage, though, right? Like,
yeah, but I know your resource usage on a Cosmos node, if you have a reasonably big box, and we only run 1 node per server anyway, so that we can shuffle things more easily. For me, it's just always it's like 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. Oh, yeah, are invariants being checked? 100%.
Yeah, but then you look at your RAM and it's just fucking constant ramp downwards until the process crashes, and then fucking you got all your RAM back.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what's it called? Oracle coming to Juno now, so we have to rejig our monitoring anyway. So now's the time to do it.
How do we get this topic? What were we talking about? Oh, Kujira.
We were talking about Kujira.
What about Kujira?
Yeah, probably. I guess I'm going to have to do some sort of monitoring for the. It's going to be a pain in the ass. More custom shit.
For what?
I didn't want the weekend anyway. Hey,
for the Oracle?
Yeah, for the Oracle. Like, you need to know whether it's.
I mean,
getting.
Or you could just turn off Juno.
It's got a Prometheus endpoint, the Oracle, so you could monitor it through that, I guess.
What is it going to use the same Oracle as Kujira and Terra?
Yeah. It's got the Prometheus endpoint there.
Sounds helpful.
So anyway, back to the
that sounds
how the the-frey managed to just as soon as I mentioned the topic, the-frey just took a fucking immediate beeline to something else and did not come back. So anyway, back to Kujira timestamp 30.
Timestamp.
Kujira.
Heard it here.
So the governance there is getting a little bit out of control. We're up to 192 props. How long has this chain been going for? A few months. And
3 months.
In the last week, I mean, this just a few days ago was 140 something, and now it's 190 something. And I think people on Kujira will be getting voting fatigue pretty soon. In the last week, there's been 50 props. Who is reading and assessing 50 props properly?
Are those are they picking new validators in that set, or what's this last one here? Because it's not necessarily props, right? It's
no, it's the Senate.
A selection of
so there was a block of 40 proposals that came through to vote in Senate members, which so Senate members are like representatives for governance, right?
Okay.
And so there's a page on Kujira for the Senate, and looking at the page, there's not a lot of participation.
Okay.
That I can see. So a lot of these aren't even over. The period for voting on Kujira is only 48 hours. It's
it's really fast.
Yeah. Right? So they're really easy to miss. You basically have to get up every morning, go to blue.kujira.app and fucking vote on something. It's like a daily task now. Anyway, that aside,
It's okay. You're being paid. You're being paid for that. Man.
No, you fucking not. No validators make any money on Kujira.
That's the joke.
Oh, okay. Fuck. You got me. Anyway, so looking at these, the votes on these Senate members, like a lot of them aren't. There's not 50% quorum. I don't think a lot of these got quorum. I'm not sure that the quorum's 50%, but a lot of these, like, there's not even 50% voting on these, and there's probably only half a day left in the voting. So it's clear that people are like getting voting fatigue and just couldn't give a fuck after a while. So anyway, but I guess it's a similar situation to Osmo. There's a lot of proposals that go through Osmo, and I think you saw over time in Osmo that the participation rates just go down.
What's the context for why all of those Senate thingies have had to all happen A at once and B in such a granular way? Is it because each person has to be approved individually, or?
Yeah, yep. But it's also the general voting volume is like, well, the proposal volume is the curse of being a permissioned chain. So every time they want to update a contract, or every time they want to start a new pair or do anything in the whole platform, which there's, it's probably not even fully built out yet. I'm sure there's a lot more moving parts they want to add to this, right? So what's this going to look like when they've got, 5 or 6 different D apps that you've got a bunch of different people contributing to, wanting to make changes on a regular basis? I'm going to have to snap my finger off and glue it to a bloody little machine to just.
You probably need like a deployment SubDAO or something.
Yeah, it needs like and this might be the point of the Senate to take care of a lot of this. But
well, I
don't know. Like I said, if they're proposals that are just like, do you want to add the pair to the trading platform and that type of stuff, like we need like a bulk vote option. But they wanted to move fast. Which is why they've got the short governance period. But I think like after 6 months, you need to start looking at increasing that voting period, because a lot of people are just missing them now because they're so frequent. You're like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then you come tomorrow and it's already fucking gone. Yeah. So.
Well, Whispernode actually put out a statement that they're going to vote no on any prop until they increase their voting period. So.
Yeah. That was specifically for like funding proposals though, right?
Initially, but I think they've expanded it.
Oh, okay. Did you say Whispernode? Yeah. Because I think they've always had the view that they're just any funding for sure. They're then just going to vote no until there's longer periods, so they can actually make an assessment on it.
I know we were talking about before, like a long time ago, about different governance modules. This is a tough governance module when you're just voting yes, no on 50 different individuals. So I'm guessing they're just going to count votes at the end, and whoever has the highest, regardless of it meets quorum or not, I guess is the idea.
Well, a Senate inherently is like a group of people. So
yeah, and I think it has to be quorum. I don't think it's just a text proposal.
So
yeah, it's an election.
So that means I assume there's 50. If there's 50 names in there, they're selecting 6 or 5 or whatever it is. They're just going to sort by the highest number of yes votes, and the top 5 win.
I don't know that there is a limit of people that can be in the Senate. So I'm presuming that a Senate can exist of 1 person or 100. It's just that whether or not you're voted in or out.
What I don't understand is why they didn't just deploy daodao to their chain, because there's literally.
Can't you do multi-selecting daodao now? Did we talk about that before? Like where you could put all 50 in a thing and people could select 1 or 50 in there?
Can you do ranked choice voting now in daodao?
I know we talked about it a while ago. I know that was coming. I just don't know if it's.
I know it's coming. I don't know if it's been done, but like this is like a classic example of where it should be a CW4 with control by, well, it should be a SubDAO. I hate the fucking the problem is I hate the term SubDAO because it makes it sound like a joke, but it should be a multi-sig with the ability for chain governance to override the membership, which is a SubDAO. But every time I say the word SubDAO, I feel like a fucking prat, unfortunately. And
I think I have to drink every time you say DAO, I have to drink too.
Jake's literally in the chat.
There's Jake.
Jake has said there is a ranked choice contract. There you go.
There's no UI for it yet.
There's no UI for it yet. And
So there's 4 people
not
watching
he's
us.
not too
They're all
offended by
alphas.
what I just said about SubDAOs, but like Jake, rebrand SubDAOs quickly. There's still time, right, before it goes mainstream. Dear God, we need to. It just needs something that you don't just go. You go like you don't go SubDAO, but you go. Oh yeah, no, one of those things that is like you're allowed to say in the company of normal people. That we need a name. We need a name. We need a name.
What would you call that thing, Frey? What would you call it?
It's like a sub of a DAO, right?
It's something like a sub part of a DAO,
Something like that.
like a smaller part of a bigger DAO, like a sub part.
DAO group.
Well, no, because you could conceivably have a chain without a governance module and just have daodao, in which case you would only have.
That sounds awesome.
You'd only have. Well, hey, if you like that idea, I think that's the plan for what's it called?
Juno?
Fucking chain building? Minerva. Yeah, I think the plan will be daodao as the gov module and fuck off the gov module for everything else, which you don't really need for lots of other stuff when you just have a substrate that deploys smart contracts and everything's a smart contract party.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But yeah, it's in that case, it's not really a SubDAO because it's a SubDAO of what? Well, there is no master DAO or main DAO or whatever. So it's just a group, really. Just
like a SubDAO?
Just a group of nerds on the internet. It's just like, is this a DAO?
Is this a DAO?
Is this a DAO? Is this a DAO?
Everything's a DAO.
So I guess, and so validators actually voting on those Kujira?
Yes,
props?
we are supposed to. Yeah.
So see that's even, I think, a bigger issue in Cosmos governance. So like voting for certain things and like, I don't know, voting for maybe a initiative or a text vote is something, but here in voting Senate members in, but validators are voting non-voting shares seems really wacky. That's not like you're trying to make it a democracy where you're voting people in, but at the same time, a small group of people have 100 million times as many votes. Like, what the hell is that? Why even put it up? Just have like it seems really awkward.
I agree. I voted no on most.
Yeah, or maybe it'd just be everybody like validators all abstain or something. But yeah, I can understand.
So what's the role of that like Senate? Because again, I'm not on Kujira, so I haven't read like the documentation. I assume they already put out like a signaling prop for creating this Senate or whatever.
The Senate is already an active part of the chain, I'm pretty sure. So there's probably a vote on it back here somewhere if I go search.
It just sounds so evil. Every time I hear Senate, I'm just like hooded top, the Galactic Senate.
The original DAO.
Let me find it.
In other news,
so in other governance news, there's a lot of funding proposals been coming through recently. Yeah, so particularly on Juno, there's the Hack Juno Turkey community spend. There's the Cosmos Options Vault by CzarDAO. CzarDAO community spend. There's the community spend proposal for AmigoSound project, which doesn't seem to be very popular by the looks of the voting.
Understatement.
But like the first two are passing it. Why is everyone asking for money right now?
Because everybody wants to keep working in the space, I guess, and they're broke.
Yep.
Because it's like a big pain to go back to a regular job and then come back in a year. So people are like, let's try it. No, that's disingenuous. That's also unfair. Like some of these folks have actually built and deployed useful stuff, and I guess maybe have a plan of getting to monetization or like sustainability. But yeah, I don't know what literally the triple threat of the way these have come in as a group has been. The timing's been very tight on all of them, and I think I can't remember. I don't want to dox who it was, but I think somebody was saying to me on Discord the other day that the hackathon in Turkey folks have actually already applied for funding before for a separate thing. But I wasn't really clear. I can go and look up what supposedly the thing was about that. But yeah, I don't know.
I just wish
voted,
people could read the room, man. There is no money. Stop asking for it.
well, we voted yes on the hackathon in Turkey because it's
Why?
preceding an event, right? That's already there. It's supposedly hooked up with a university as well, so there's going to be students demonstrably. Will any of them actually come and work in the space? No, but it's all about kind of exposure. I mean, I think the thing is, like, you've got kind of on something like that, you've got to separate Juno and Cosmos, and you got to go, look, you got to think a little bit long term and go, like, if all that Juno achieves is broadening the adoption of Cosmwasm and bringing more developers into space and raising more developer awareness, then that's not perfect. It's certainly not good for those of us that have invested time, money, energy, and have a bag of Juno that we are somewhat relying on to eventually be worth something and pay for the effort put into the project. But from a really high level, like, has this served a purpose? Yes, it will have served a purpose. And I think that's the basis on which would evaluate something like that. You're like, it's speculative, but it's broadening the developer ecosystem of Cosmwasm potentially, which is the kind of raison d'etre for Juno. The SubDAO,
I don't think that communities should pick up the tab for idealism and
but Juno literally is idealism.
The whole chain
should
is,
be
right?
Cosmwasm.
Yeah, but what I mean is that
Cosmwasm.
Yeah, and we let there be Cosmwasm, but the people. I don't think, like, now is a fucking terrible time. Like, there's no liquidity in the tokens worth fuck all. Any time we give out any tokens, whether it's 10,000, 50,000, or 100,000, it has a big detrimental effect on the community. And these are the people who are like holding onto their tokens now, not selling them themselves. So why the fuck should we just spit in their face and go and give out a shitload of tokens to potential, just money grabs? I'm not saying they are, but potentially some of this might not even get done. Why does the community have to pay for that? If someone wants to build a project, they should build the fucking project. They shouldn't be here with their hand out all the time.
That's not what this one is, though. This Hack Juno one. This is
Hack Juno one's different, but the other two are to support teams to build a project, right?
Yeah.
Read the room. There's no fucking money. You're not getting any. Even if we give it to you, you're just going to smash the token, and everyone else's is worth nothing. So
okay, but a counter opinion would be that. Okay, so with the caveat that obviously that's not how this works because of the way Juno is not a traditional economy. There's a lot of other factors at play. Liquidity is important in a way. It's not necessarily in a traditional economy where you have bonds and government spending and blah, blah, blah. But like generally speaking, right, whether you're a company or whether you are a government, you need to spend money in order to create economic activity. That is like a fundamental. That is literally like number one of the playbook, right? Is like, you can print money to create inflation, or you can spend money to stimulate actual economic activity. Like, and sometimes the two are muddy, sometimes the two are hand in hand. But like,
you need to invest money into industries that will be able to export something, right?
Right.
Is
so
how an
like,
economy
you need
works.
to invest some money in, like, I don't know, developers building projects that are with smart contracts
That
maybe?
are fucking. So if a project is not going to be self-sustaining, there is no point in fucking building it. Well, if it's just to bring the developer here so that he might do something else, I don't think any of these projects are going to
just built it.
Huh? You're talking about attracting a group. Like, the Cosmos should be working for that as a whole. It's not Juno's job alone to bring in all of the developers in the world that know how to program in Rust, right? It's a Cosmos problem. It's not a fucking Juno problem.
Number one, Cosmos and Juno's goals have diverged very, very strongly at this point. And that was 2 points. At number three, it is Juno's problem at the moment because Juno is the only general purpose gateway, deploy your shit, then do an app chain that actually has a viable community. So it really is Juno's problem because Juno is the only place as a developer you can come into the ecosystem, build an idea, and ship it. Because the SDK
is if you're trying to attract teams whose like end goal is to create something and make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're creating things that don't make money, and they're fucking copying things that don't make money. Like, if your goal is to get them to come and build, give them the tools to build so that they can come, give them all of the resources that they need to build other than just hand them fucking money.
Right, but counterpoint, daodao is like I know we take the piss about certain aspects of it because Jake friended the show and thinks still in the chat as well. So again, hi Jake. daodao,
he's probably shaking his fucking head at the moment, going, "Jesus, this prick's not sleeping on my couch."
But genuinely, like DAO tooling is genuinely one of the areas where Cosmos ecosystem is way ahead of other ecos, right?
Mhm.
And you look at the shit in like Aptos, prime example, loads of money, some really cool stuff being built on certain types of smart contracts over there. The DAOs are fucking shit, right? Like at the moment, and you go like, okay, this is one thing that Cosmos has that is just way fucking ahead. Why is that? daodao. Is daodao a profitable project? Is it fuck? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's a path to monetization there. It is like a classic piece of open source software funded, whatever. So it's just not necessarily the case, right? That things have to make money, because sometimes things actually allow other things to be built, and then it's part of a positive multiplier effect, right? The point is that devs are getting paid and devs are building stuff, and it's creating economic activity. With the additional caveat that economic activity is only the be all and the end all in this case, because that is what we've decided value means in the current model that we're working with in the crypto ecosystem, which fuck knows might not always be exactly the case in the way that we currently conceive it, which is line must go up. So there's a lot of that's quite a lot of shower thoughts for like 1 minute. I'm going to stop talking, but like I just think that actually the bringing in devs is so fundamental, and even in a bear market, that like I say, we voted no on the AmigoSound one. We think we're qualified yes on the CzarDAO. Don't like the amount of money, but
I think you're looking at it wrong. I think devs at any cost is just going to destroy the community anyway, and then it'll be fucked anyway. So
what do you mean by that?
Well, like I said, every time you give this token away, it's a spit in the face of everyone who holds the token, right? It's not money there to give away. I saw it in the comment in one of those proposals. It says it's 0.3%, 0.3% or 0.3% of the community pool.
That was Amigo.
Get it through your fucking heads. It's not a pool of money. It's a pool of tokens that gets sold against liquidity pools, right?
Yeah.
So when you take $100,000 out of that, $100,000 worth of Juno out of that pool, you take $100,000 out of the community's pocket. That's the fucking bottom line.
But the only reason that people have Juno to begin with is for a to-be future that will not exist unless you start funding projects. So I understand what you're saying. You're saying it's a spit in the face. Everybody wants Juno.
The people that project, unless people build and there's activity, right? Yeah. I agree. You need people here building things, doing stuff to make it a viable chain, right? Yeah. Maybe it should fucking die. Maybe it doesn't have a place. But if people don't come on their own volition, you're just paying them to come here, spend some time, build a thing, and then fuck off.
Not
but that's also unrealistic.
Not necessarily,
like, people
because
don't build stuff for free. People expect to be paid, and
people want to go to the most promising ecosystem, right? And build some stuff there. Juno offers a platform where we can offer them all of the infrastructure and resourcing that they need to be able to come in, easily write a contract, have it work well, have the all the things behind it that you already need. You just come in, you write your contract, and you can have a proof of concept for your app, right? And then away you go. If it takes off, then you can make your app chain, and that's the gateway. If everything that we want to get built here, we have to pay for, what's the fucking point? We're like venture capitalizing people to come in and build a proof of concept and then go and make an app chain? What does Juno get out of that?
Well, that's what you have to do in a bear market, because in a bull market, you can fucking do anything. And the rising token price, plus the fact that it's LP'd against another token that's going up in value, that everything's positively correlated, right? You can, as long as you have even the shonkiest way of generating passive token revenue from a project, you can probably turn enough money to get maybe a 6-month runway, right? For maybe one dev, maybe two devs.
In the meantime, you alienate your entire community. They're sick of the price going down. They unbundle their shit and they sell it, and then you're fucked anyway.
Well,
I think that's the key point. I'm with Noel here quite a bit more than probably I'd like to be, because it sounds kind of negative.
Well, it is negative, but that's the situation that we're in, right? And
no, I agree. From what I've been paying attention on Twitter and Telegram and Discord, a lot of the fact that Juno's price hasn't really correlated up with Bitcoin or with how Cosmos has been going up, people have been kind of pissed, right? And so if we continue giving things out, it gives a further kind of black eye to Juno.
The community's already beat the shit out of. The community's already fucking had duress for months because
but the community was angry in the bull. The community is angry in the bear. Like the classic example,
But the fix to that, you don't fix an angry community by beating them around the fucking ears.
Is the ability to do something that is strategically sound, even if your voters will vote you out for doing it.
Are any of these things strategically sound that we're looking at voting on here?
Well, no. But my point is that
point to the one of these which is
the merits of it. That's on the validator in the community to decide whether these projects have merit, right?
What's your opinion? You voted yes on
some. Of whether or not you should give a large amount of money in a bear potentially to a project that you think has merit. As a validator, you should do that. That is, I think, fundamentally, like, if you go like, this is a risk, but I think the project has merit. People are pissed about token price going down. However, I don't know. I think that's kind of it is what it is. Like, would you rather the chain die on its feet, investing in stuff, being proactive, looking to the future, and trying to like make that a reality, or would you rather die with money in the bank and just gradually die a death of 1,000 cuts when there are no fucking protocols on it?
With your arms folded.
Yeah, you're just like, well,
project suck.
We managed to maintain a $1 token price all the way through the bear, and then when the bull happened, we got left behind because there were no fucking protocols on it, because we didn't make any bets, because we were like, oh, well, we can't have it go down to 70 cents rather than $1. It's like, it's 70 cents rather than $1. Like, it's still a 95% fall on peak. Like, some perspective is important there. If you ever want it to get back to $10, you need to invest, and you're going to have to invest a disproportionate amount of money in a bear, because we have no backstop for funding, because everything was in Juno. Like, some chains have other ways of doing funding, right? All of us as validators, I hope, sold during the bull and have at least some runway now in the bear. Like, we're making no money in the Cosmos on our validators now. We're losing money. So and that's why I've been having some conversation with OVH and why we're moving a lot of stuff. But anyway, the point is that, like, we know as businesses how to like try and amortize that risk, and some chains have the ability to do that better than others. Juno, unfortunately, doesn't in the same way because of the nature of its structure, and so its investments are riskier.
And one of the things with this, I do think that the DAO structure and SubDAO quote is the right place for that. And so, like, things like this whatever the hell this is, this Amigo thing, that should be instantly rejected, because they did try to go through the whatever that grant fund is type of thing. And there is a team that looks at that, and the team said no. So that process worked. So this should not be on chain. So this should be a no with veto. They didn't follow the process. People should know the different community funding projects are processes for those. They should go through the right group. If the DAO has the right structure in terms of milestones, deliverable checking, and those types of things, this shouldn't be if somebody asking for 180,000 Juno or something like that, no, it should be 180,000 Juno after these 6 milestones are completed. And milestone 1 is 15 Juno. So we're limiting our exposure to 15 Juno. And then if they meet that, they get the next 30 Juno. Exactly like this CzarDAO thing has it structured in there. Like, that type of stuff is, I think, it's not so much the projects asking for funding, it is how we validate and how we look at the quality of projects. What types of projects does the community want to be able to fund, number one? And number two, building a realistic milestone structure to make sure that we're not over our ski tips, right? Where you're not promising $1.5 million fucking Juno for something that never comes up, which we were talking about a few shows ago, which was that other, I forget what we were talking about, that the DAO kickback for payment 6 of 6 after they already gave $1.5 million away.
Loop, was it?
I have not seen anyone submit ever a funding proposal with a business case that makes sense.
Then they should all be, then you should not be on that team. You should not be in that DAO because here's the issue. And I brought this up in channel today also, because the challenge with that DAO is number one, you don't want to give away dollars for shit. And the other part is if you say no to everything, this chain goes nowhere, which is kind of the point that we're trying to make. So there has to be some things that come through that you might still think are shit, but they're good enough for now. And they're good enough for now to be able to build that.
Like, why do we just have to pay an arbitrary amount of money with no real, like, they say this is what we're going to make, right? Okay. But you're asking for this. What is the resources that you actually need to build it? I see no like manning. I see no time frames. I see no like
look at the idea of it.
At like hours burn. I see no like
that's you don't care about how the sausage is made.
But not only that,
you don't care about that.
Like there's no analysis of like what the outcomes of this is going to be. We're going to build this thing. What are the outcomes of it, and what benefit does that bring the wider community for this funding?
Yeah, I think that's onto the team.
Put forward. It's let me build this thing and give me some fucking money.
Totally agree. And any DAO and any group that's responsible for funding should be rejecting that because there should be criteria on how that happens. So like the CzarDAO
business case, there should be like, we'll build this thing and we'll give you 10% of our token. If you're giving us 10% of your token, it's going to be fucking worthless because the things.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Shitty.
I mean, and honestly, that DAO should also have goals based on the year. So this year, like in 2023, that goal might not be ROI. That goal might be number of new wallets created, something similar to that. Number of new users brought to the platform, amount of interactions. Like, and those goals should change based on the market. When the price is $45, I might not care about number of new users. I might want to say, I want projects with high ROI. Show me that you're delivering dollars back in, not just user growth. We have user growth covered. So based on the year, that DAO should have different focuses and should be funding projects differently based off of what the needs are right now. And so now in 2023 in a fucking bear, you would think that it would be either new eyeballs, it would be changing hearts and minds, it would be something similar to that wants to be able to move things in the right direction. And you're right. Every fucking proposal should have specific deliverables. Timelines should absolutely be there, and it should be broken out into, so you're not like having, 2 million fucking Juno going out for no deliverables. Like
I want a business case and a budget.
Then get on that team and fucking.
This is where the fucking money's going. This is what we're going to achieve by building this project.
Totally agree. And honestly, I mean, we were talking about this before because I think we were looking at the Cosmos has a similar structure, right? They have a kind of a where they decide to invest in specific projects. I forget. We were just talking about this, and it depends on who's on that team as well, because you have to have individuals who understand how to do investments in specific startups, right? Because what you're really doing is startup investing. That's really what you're doing, and so that team should have some, like, whoever's on that DAO should also have some experience in doing that before, and some understanding of how to ask those questions and what an actual business case looks like, right? All those types of things I think are absolutely valid.
Well, at least we can agree on that.
They are. So I think that also, I mean, and that is a thankless job. I think because
all the DAOs are thankless jobs.
Because all people are just going to fucking bitch because they want the numbers to go up, and you say no to something, goes what the fuck, because they think at that point then you're stopping the natural growth of the ecosystem because you're saying no to something because they just want to see the numbers go up, right? But again, that's not an adult way to think about it, right? If you're really trying to build this chain for the next 10 or 15 or 20 years, and there's only so much limited Juno that's in the community pool or in these pools of this type of thing, then you really have to be measured and calculated about when you're going to invest and when you're not, and what you're going to invest in and at what points within the market. Because otherwise, it all goes to I think it goes to zero very, very quickly.
I mean, a lot of things are going to go to zero.
You are so negative.
So let me
it's all rocking emojis, dude. Just fucking turn that frown upside down.
Exactly. Kind of a glass half full.
It's a glass.
Like you to manifest.
Broken.
No, you to manifest.
He's not listening.
He's just getting angry.
Annoyed.
So, okay. Here's a different, here's a different way of putting it, right? When someone says that they want 100 grand and that's 0.3% of the pool, right?
Yes.
It's actually more than 4% of the liquidity pools.
We know it's bullshit. Yeah, they should be, and honestly,
it should be. They use disingenuous.
And no, it should be the DAO's team responsibility when they republish that grant out to the public to put it in DAO terms. Just because here are that should be a format that's very structured to say how much of the current liquidity pool is being allocated this year, how much next year, how much in the next 5 years. How much? What are the actual milestones?
And what are the effects?
And what are the effects?
Like
What's their expected outcome?
We plan to allocate
totally agree.
$500,000 this year to projects, and
totally
this
agree.
is the effect on
Who's
what effect it's going to have on
how
pricing.
Are we gonna, how are we going to measure that?
Buying into.
Totally. Yeah. How are you going to measure that? Who's going to measure that? When is that going to be measured? And what does the minimum have to be before you release the next portion of that?
And look, if that was transparent and talked about, and people knew that's what they were buying into, I wouldn't have so much of a problem with it. But just funding projects for the sake of funding projects because having devs here will create economic activity, I don't think is a good excuse.
I think it's a strategy where you might get lucky.
It's a Hail Mary strategy.
That is, you might get lucky and you might bring the right people. And if you think if I get 100 people in, then maybe something's going to happen out of this, and we hope so. And if not, fuck it, right? But that's different than it. But that's a strategy from somebody who doesn't have bags of that. If you're carrying it and you're hoping that what you carry turns into something, then obviously that strategy is not good enough. But I do think that like if groups come in like CzarDAO or whatever else, like I always see proposals from these teams, but the way that they word them and like that 0.3% type of thing, that's their wording. There should be a DAO wording to say, this is how we take that request and turn it into what we feel it impacts the community. And that is basically the DAO's proposal to the community. The DAO's proposal to the community say, this is why we think this is a good investment. Here's what they gave us, but fuck all that. Here's what we think that might be able to do. That's really like, that's no different than you would have from any sort of like, angel investment network we were talking about earlier this week, or investment group of some sort. They basically take that opportunity and reposition that into their own words to say, this is what we think their actual return is.
And I agree. And I don't think we do enough to like, if we fund a project, we don't do enough to scream it from the rooftops and make people aware of the project and actually help the projects succeed, right? We say, there's your funding, go off, build your shit. Don't fuck up. And then we don't do anything else about it. We should be marketing that stuff from a central location and trying to penetrate other communities with this is what we're achieving. These are the things we're making. This is what we're achieving. Here's some pretty graphics and a fucking video of
that is the stated goal of the communications SubDAO, to be fair.
Well, they don't do it.
Is that on the
I think they do.
I've never seen like
spaces and stuff, right?
I've never seen a heavy marketing push from the main Juno account, and that's the one with all the followers. And we need to pay for advertising if that's what it takes to penetrate other communities to say these are all the good things that we're doing. You're not going to get it just by doing the thing. You need to penetrate communities, get out there, make it heard. This is what we're doing. Come and have a look. Just giving the money to someone to build a thing is not going to do fucking anything.
Yeah, that'd be a good section on the webpage too. Like projects under funding and where they are in those milestones. Like that would be something else that would be a good DAO report, not just from a marketing perspective, but also like I mean, the community's funding these types of things, right? It's coming out of liquidity pools, like you said. So something along that lines. I'm just looking on the website, but something along that lines to be able to. There's the grant structure and it has all the instructions around it, but exactly what grants have been developed, where are they in those? What milestones have been hit? What's being abandoned? That would be that's a good worthwhile report.
It's like a room full of shadowy supercoders with the door closed, and then that's where they are, and they build their thing in their little box, and then no one knows about it. Like, and the only one thing that people know about, they fucking hate.
Robin said the Czar never discussed this with the Juno
JGF,
the JGF
Juno Growth Fund.
Yeah, the Growth Fund. Yeah, I mean, again, did they know that? I didn't know. I don't really know what needs to go to the Growth Fund or not. So maybe that's also confusion.
Well, the Growth Fund is for the attracting of talent and growth of Juno, right? So all should go there.
But I mean, you have two examples of that. One is Czar bypassing that group and saying "fuck it" and just putting it on chain, and you have Amigo who went through that group, got denied, and then also put it on chain, right? So does anybody else know? Like we know it because we talk about it, but does anybody else who's just walking around in the ecosystem know why everybody's voting no with veto on AmigoSound? I don't know.
It's interesting that AmigoSound is getting hammered. I mean, I think it's ironically a very unsound proposal, but I'm surprised that. Sorry. The problem there was
that's a future
I
YouTube clip right there.
I sounded exactly as pleased with myself as
Subscribe
I
now
about that. So
subscribe now.
sorry.
It reminds me of that. What's the fucking meme where they got? It's like, what's the guy that's on the boat one where the sinking boat and you can't get on the bit of board at the end?
Titanic.
Painting you like your French. Yeah, what's the guy that's in that? The actor.
DiCaprio?
Yeah. So and then he's in that other movie with the
He's
guy
been in
across
several
the lake. Yeah, but there's the meme. He's like, you know.
Oh, you mean
Django Unchained?
Django Unchained, yeah.
Yeah. Glad we got there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how I felt when you said that.
It was like a breadcrumb of movie knowledge.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go for the meme, the most interesting man in the world meme, where he's just sat there with the drink.
That's where I thought he was going with it too.
I know that would have been the classic meme reference.
The twists and turns in Game of Nodes. Who just which way is he going with this?
Wow, which meme is he going to describe verbally? Who knows?
Terribly, with very little knowledge of what he's talking about.
You know that guy that
all
was in
over
that
the
thing?
meme culture.
Meme. It still blows my mind. Was it you, Schultz, you were saying that you actually had met people that said meme?
Oh yeah, many.
The memes.
I think
one of my friends definitely dropped that back on me in the early days of memes, and he's like, "Have you seen the meme of the thing?" And I'm like,
I think if you say meme, you might have to go to jail, like real jail.
Oh.
And the dude's like,
go to jail right away.
Oh wait, no, wait. In America, it's different, isn't it? It's you got to go to prison, not jail.
Jail's the thing you wait at while you getting primed to go to prison.
That's correct.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So they need to go to prison, not jail.
Mm-hmm.
For saying
jail's where they give you your soap, then you go to prison with it.
Thank you, Noel.
Okay, thank you.
Just hey, how's that merch coming along?
Jail's where you get your soap.
Yeah, I
was thinking about just putting random shit that we say on shirts and then wearing them on the podcast, but I thought, fuck it. I'm actually just going to wear button-up shirts from now on.
So an observation, like I realize I'm now literally doing Game of Nodes admin while on the Game of Nodes podcast, but you folks are going to be in East Denver in T-4 weeks, and you do realize the lead time on promotional T-shirts is like 2.5 weeks minimum for a rush job, which gives, by my calculation, something like we got like 10 days to design this hoodie and get it done. And you probably have to get it printed in the States because otherwise it won't get delivered on time.
I have white shirts and a permanent marker, so
it's about our budget, by the way.
Okay, weird things I can do because I've spent a very wasted life of learning random skills. I can screen print. So, if you were in the UK and we had to do this,
I was going to say you're also in jolly England.
Yeah, I can screen print, and I have a membership which I still pay out of a kind of sense of solidarity, even though I don't go there anymore because I don't have time, to a printing press. So I could actually go there and screen print a load of T-shirts, although it would take fucking days. It would be really unprofitable. But
tell me more about this membership to a fucking screen printer.
It's actually a printing press, a community-run printing press. But in addition to wood block and lead printing, typesetting and stuff, there's also essentially because you need to photographic fix it, don't you, to fix onto the mesh, and then you screen print through it on like a big. You basically just need a place to flood the paint, and then you just go boom. That bit is very low tech. It's just the fixing. You need a dark room. So, and obviously you need a space to put these big frames because they're like, I don't know, about the size of this desk, and then you have to put them in a dark room, and the dark room has to be big enough, to let the photographic paint stuff fixer, whatever it's called, develop.
Fascinating.
Yeah, because you basically take an image, right, and then you blow it up, and then you make it black and white, and you just sort of make it large enough to cover the screen, and then you just fix it with photographic fixer, or what it's called. I think it's a type of paint, but it's basically like the same stuff essentially that you use on photographs, right? But black and white ones, and then that goes over a wire mesh, and then only the bits that are like it's different levels of permeability. So then you just flood it with ink over over like a kind of flat area.
Mhm.
You put the t-shirt underneath it and you go whoosh with a slider.
Squeegee.
Yeah, squeegee, exactly. Squeegee
your
slider.
amigo
What was I
head.
talking about? Yeah, I can also. I also do know how to set lead type as well. That takes ages. Newspapers must have been so labor intensive. Would be my review of that.
There wasn't
Like
much to
putting all
talk
the little
about. So.
things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a
Short
real pain in
stories.
the ass.
Yeah.
But you know, that was someone's job for 10 hours a day, right? Put
You're-
little things on the newspaper.
Yeah, I watched a documentary the other day of a thing, and then like, not important what it was, but like partway through, they're interrupted. Like the course of the actual thing the documentary is about was interrupted by striking linotype workers. You know, because it was like in the mid 70s, so it was like the beginning of sort of, I guess, like moving away from like literally hand setting all the type to machine does it, prints it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess for newspaper, it must have been newspaper. So yeah.
How many?
That's quite
You're in like a fuckload of DAOs. You're like DAO man. You're a printing press DAO, and you have a typesetting DAO. What else?
But they're not decentralized. They're very central. They're centralized to a random industrial lockup in the northwest of England. Like
that makes it a SubDAO then, right?
It's a bit of a SubDAO. Then
it's a bit of a SubDAO.
It's a group. It's really more of a group.
It is a suburban DAO. That is true. Unless that was the joke, in which case it just flew straight over my head.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, you guys should get those. We collectively should get them done, and then you can get them printed, and then post me one.
We do need to do that. I think
post me one.
Yeah, we agree to do that. And then also, I need to look at flights too, because I haven't done that yet, which I definitely need to do. And I think I'm living on the street at this point, so I think that's something I need to take care of as well.
It was a party house.
I thought you were staying with us.
I thought that was in Denver, but I thought Breckenridge we didn't have a thing yet.
Oh yeah, I haven't sorted anything.
That sounds
So
right.
for those of you, those of you on the stream, maybe not listening later because we know we have bigger numbers on the listen back. But
thank God.
Certainly the people in the comments, if you need a place to stay in Denver, you could probably stay with these guys.
You probably could.
At this point, you are not a random on the internet.
If you're live here, you're welcome.
If you're making comments on the Game of Nose live stream, we probably know you and have met you several occasions.
Exactly.
And/or,
you have a place to stay.
And-
What other
your
podcast gives you a
family
place to
relation.
stay at East Denver? Yeah, exactly.
I actually need some other shit to do while I'm over there. So, anyone want to go to Texas? I want to see a rodeo.
Go
Does
to
the
the
radio
History
Colorado.
History Colorado Museum in Denver. It's really good.
Yeah, you could probably go to a rodeo in outside of Denver too. I would think.
I need to get a ticket to San Francisco to annoy the shit out of Jake.
Get the train. It's really good.
Oh yeah, the train.
Yeah, from Denver. It goes like first thing in the morning, like 9 a.m, and it goes to does it go to Emeryville, or just outside of San Francisco?
What train? Like an Amtrak?
You can jump on the BART nearby.
Like an Amtrak, like a sleeper.
Yeah, and it goes down the Colorado River. Like it's like literally the railway is here and the river is here, and the only way you can get to that bit of the Colorado River is if you raft it or if you take the train.
Oh shit!
And there's nothing around. It literally just goes straight up into the mountains, goes through this, I think it's like 6,000 feet it goes up. It's really high. And then it stops off in, I think, Fraser, Colorado, and then Grand Junction, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Grand Junction.
And then it goes out into the Sierras after going down the Colorado River for a while. It goes, I think it stops at Salt Lake, like at 10 o'clock at night, and then you arrive in California first thing in the morning kind of thing.
That sounds like there's not many great train rides in the U.S., so that does sound like one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the best things I've done. It's really, really good.
Is there no stop? Or does it stop anywhere? Or?
It might.
It stops at, you can get off in Grand Junction, Fraser, Salt Lake, Sacramento, I think.
Could be.
Was that all one place, or is that like a bunch of different places?
That's a bunch of different
It
places.
sounded like just one
Different
big name
states.
of a place.
Yeah.
I feel like there's also a place you can get off on the outskirts of.
Did you say Salt Lake, like Salt Lake City, where there's like the other gambling place? I want to see that.
No,
Gangsters.
Gambling in Salt Lake? I don't think so.
No, you're thinking of Las Vegas.
Are you thinking about Reno?
Salt Lake City?
Vegas?
It's on movies.
No.
Salt Lake City.
Atlantic City.
You're talking about Atlantic City?
Gambling is Atlantic City, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
That's the other side.
Definitely sounds antithetical to Salt Lake.
It does.
You can't even buy beer without buying a meal to go with it in Salt Lake City. So
They do have a lot of MLMs.
I'm not
there,
stopping there. That sounds shit.
Which Sherlock Holmes story is it where it turns out it was all like to do with the Mormons? Like one of the Sherlock Holmes stories is all like there's like some conspiracy and then it all ends up back in London with a murder and it turns out it's all something to do with Mormon intrigue. I'm pretty sure I didn't imagine this. This is a real thing.
I have no idea.
I love the way this like at moments today we did talk about like something related to the cosmos.
We did. We bitched about
stuff,
Juno funding.
Now we're definitely into the Game of Thrones variety half an hour.
I watched In Bruges recently. There's that. I'll throw that out there.
It's a good film, isn't it?
Good film.
That was great. I had to watch after watching Banshees of Inisherin or whatever it's called.
Oh, did you like that?
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah.
The Banshees, yeah, it was a fucking good movie. Eh?
It's a good
What
film.
was the other one we mentioned last week?
3 out of 4 Game of Nodes regulars recommend Banshees of Inisherin.
Who doesn't?
I haven't seen it yet, so I
okay.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
You will definitely enjoy it.
is it up my? It's up my alley. I think I did grab it though.
Any take homes from it, Schultzy? Did you what?
From In Bruges or Banshees?
Any shower thoughts in Bruges? No, in the Banshees one.
Shower thoughts.
Or did you just find it entertainment?
I mean, there's a lot to say about it, right? I think that I can't say this because that's a spoiler.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
All right, don't spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
We can spoil it next week after I watch it.
It's one that deserves not to be spoiled.
It's got Colin Farrell in it.
Did anyone watch The Menu as well? It was the other one I mentioned last week.
No,
I actually watched that one as well after you mentioned it, and I really enjoyed it. But my friends and I are also like, we are the crowd to be made fun of by that movie. So like, we have sous vide machines. We'll spend 6 hours making a burger kind of thing. And so when we watched it, it was just the funniest thing ever. I didn't realize it was a horror movie until I looked at IMDb and was like, oh, I thought it was a comedy because they were making fun of us the entire time.
Didn't you just love the foodie guy? Didn't you just love like his outcome? It was fucking great.
That was perfect. Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. It's a great movie. If anyone's watching, just go and watch it. It's a great film.
The Menu.
Really
I'd recommend a couple of documentaries actually from the last week. I watched the I think I told Schulze about this. I feel like we had maybe I'm just like finally having a fucking hemorrhage, but the Punk Singer, which is about Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill, that was a very good documentary, very, very good documentary. And I thought that was a band I knew some stuff about, and it turned out didn't really fucking know much about them at all, and it was a really good music documentary. And Fall of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years, which is the second in the Fall of Western Civilization trilogy of documentaries by Penelope Spears, who later went on to make Wayne's World.
Really?
Weirdly.
In fact.
Really? That's quite the coincidence.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. She did a documentary on rockers, like metalheads, and like punk kids in LA. Like Fall of Western Civilization 1 was punk. This one, Part 2, is metal. And so the reason that Part 2 is really good is because it was made like 10 years after Spinal Tap, and it's like an actual documentary, and it's about hair metal, which is obviously like the worst kind of metal. And everybody in it is totally stupid and completely toxic. And it's so, if you had told me they were all actors and it was all a joke, I'd be like, damn, the acting is amazing. And that, like, it's as good as Spinal Tap. Like, they're so convincing.
What?
But it's just real. It's a documentary. It's got all these like incredibly, like, it's great. Yeah, it's just baffling and toxic and kind of hilarious and sad. And it's like a great music documentary. It's really good.
All right.
So I recommend that if you can find it and get your hands on it. Oh, and the other I feel I've been watching so many documentaries, but this was the one that had the linotype strike in it. I watched A Sunday in Hell, which is a documentary about the 1976 edition of Paris-Roubaix, which is also is a very different era of documentary, where especially in the English dub, there's almost no description of what's going on. There's just lots of French people talking at each other constantly, and then like after you just watch them talking at each other in a cafe for like 5 minutes, and the narrator goes, the locals are very excited about the passage of today's race. It's like they've literally been talking to each other while mic'd up for 5 minutes, and that's your takeaway. Like, it's great. Very slow, very relaxing.
Are these all Netflix documentaries, Frey?
I think the first 2 you can get on Prime. Sunday in Hell, I think you can literally find it on YouTube for free. I watched it on YouTube on a channel which had a picture of a guy's fixie bike, and the YouTube channel's name was Mr. Fixie. So I think we
find them, man. You find them.
Self-explanatory.
You find them, I swear. Ooh, Mr. Fixie, I'm clicking on this guy.
So the Godfather of Harlem started back this week as well, which is an awesome TV show if no one watches that.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's got that I'll tell you the dude. It's got that what's his name? The fella.
Oh, it's got the hell.
The guy.
Offered in TV series, the SAS Rogue Heroes was quite stylishly done, I thought.
Have not watched that. Is that another documentary?
It's about no, it's a drama about the founding of the SAS in North Africa. It's quite good.
Does anyone watch 1923? It's like one of those Yellowstone prequels.
I haven't watched any of the Yellowstone prequels yet. I've been kind of holding off.
Haven't you?
Oh man, there's prequels already.
Yeah, there's
1883 was phenomenal. I fucking loved that. It was great. So it's like they're doing like time progression from like colonization of the intermediate states, or whatever they call them, the flyover states out there, or where it's all the way up to like, you know, traveling to where the Yellowstone Ranch is. The first people who were, you know, started the ranch and that community in that town. And then, so, you know, the end of 1883 is basically, oh, fuck, I can't tell you. But it's really good. It's really good prequels. And the 1923 one has been great so far.
That's Harrison Ford, right? In 1920.
Yeah, Harrison Ford, yeah.
I got that.
And, what's that old bird's name?
In 1883?
1883.
Sam
I think
is what's his face? The guy from The Big Lebowski. But I can't think of his name.
John. Oh, you're talking about
the guy at the bar.
Yeah.
In The Big Lebowski. Remember we were at the bar, he's talking to the dude, and the guy's like, the sarsaparilla guy?
Is it Sam O'Neill? That's not it.
No, not Sam O'Neill. Come on. Where's everybody in the comments? Help us out.
John, you mean John Thingy?
I don't think, is his name John Thingy?
Well, not Thingy.
Helen Mirren's the old bird that I was trying to think of.
Describe Helen Mirren as some old
bird. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
But yeah, so my favorite quote from
1923
is where the Harrison Ford character calls sheep prairie maggots. I just loved it.
Actually, if we're doing westerns, that Emily Blunt one, the English, is pretty good too. It's dark and quite slow. Like the pace is like, but it's very very kind of like sad and killing-y and sort of like quite brutal, like kind of like not very
sad and killing-y.
You know what I mean? It's you know, it's one of those when you start watching it and you're like, oh, no good will come of this. You know, one of those dramas, and it's obviously set at the end of the West, and it's about this Native American scout tracker who ends his time in the U.S. Army, and then he's like, well, I'm going to go north and find a patch of land because I'm supposed to be owed one for fighting in the U.S. Army. And you're like, okay,
it's not going to go well. Sam Elliott, who I was thinking of.
I wish the new episode. I wish the new season of Boba Fett had come out.
So Sam Elliott's the one in 1883, and then we were thinking about the other one we were thinking about before. It just came to me is Forrest Whitaker. That's who you're talking about.
Have you seen Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai with Forrest Whitaker? That's fucking really cool.
I think
it's like really old.
It's a while ago, right? Yeah.
It's a good film.
Yeah, good actor.
You know what else is good? I only seen a tiny bit of one episode, and I need to like go back and watch it properly. But like I was already like, oh, this is for me. Was Andor, the new Star Warsy thing. And lots of it's filmed in the northwest of England and the north of England. And so there's like loads of people I know have been like, that's filmed near me. It's quite cool. You can cycle to a bunch of places.
It's right around the corner.
It's right around the corner. It's down the road by the pub.
Where I live is important.
I'm going to come over there, Frey, and we're going to do the pub crawl on the train.
Pub crawl. Yeah.
Yeah, we can bring the bean.